Definitely, the number one method that most people who die by suicide use is a gun. Is a gun, and oftentimes this individual, we often have heard in the past that they are randomly or rash or impulsive, but actually this individual plans it. So this individual may actually plan it and think about when and where and what they're going to use. Now, when they start talking about it, or family members may start thinking, wow, this looks impulsive, that is a high risk. That's when families or friends and oftentimes law enforcement get involved, because then that's when it's escalated out of control and some sort of intervention needs done. But we have seen that usually it's a planned process, that 80% of all people who die by suicide give signs. So it is a process. And sometimes they even habituate to it. It may be something that frightens them, a gun frightens them, but they may actually practice, they may actually say they need gun for safety issues. Is that truly what's going on, or is there something else underneath? So sometimes it's really hard to kind of get to the core issue of what a person's feeling.
Yeah,
No,
like a fleeting feeling.
No, usually people can have thoughts. They just may not act on them. It's when they actually start to plan it. They become more specific about a date or a time or a location. And so I think to the general population, to us, we're looking for simple answers. So the simple answer is they just snapped. It happened randomly, when in effect we go back and we see that these issues have been building and building over a period of time.
Okay.
Not being an expert, definitely, or being a policy expert, but I think that the laws that we have in order to protect people, background checks, very important, but I think it's just training, whether it's training more mental health professionals to recognize issues of suicidal behavior in their clients, whether it's law enforcement being more familiar with that as well, which I know is being done, but it's the general public too, family and friends knowing that if you have a gun on the premises and this person is feeling issues of suicide or severe depression, you may want to put those in a secure location. So I think the whole movement about getting gun locks is a good idea. How to keep your gun safe if you do happen to utilize guns or have guns. Getting training for gun handling. But we have said you cannot suicide-proof any home, any business, any facility to actually make it more safe. Although we might be able to, mirror whatever the other countries are doing in England, where their gun policy is very strict, but we have the, Second Amendment, so we're a different society here in America, and you got people who are really strongly for or against having guns. So
yeah, through that time,
what we try to do is we encourage people to call the hotline and talk to our trained professionals to work through a risk assessment. Let's find out, because family and friends, they get the gut feeling. Well, let's go with it. Let's do a further assessment. So my staff will take them through. Are they talking about suicide? Are they thinking? Do you know what their history is about previous suicidal acts or suicidal attempts? Have they been hospitalized? Are they currently diagnosed with a psychiatric diagnosis such as depression or any other psychiatric diagnosis. So we're going to walk them through that. And if it looks like it's high risk, we're going to encourage them, they need to access help immediately, whether we call 911, whether family and friend can intervene. If it's a low risk, we still think that we can offer that strategy, to families. Listen, talk, ask the questions, and maybe let their loved one know that there's help out there, that there's resources they can tap into. And they can get those resources by calling Help Hotline or 211 to get the resources to get people help.
Okay. Gotcha. So it's a matter of talking to them and getting them the right resources.
Getting linked to help. Now, family members will be resistant, and there are times that sometimes families have to make a difficult decision. And I've told families, well, if it's uncomfortable for you to make this decision, you've given now this information to Help Hotline. We will work on it. Kind of takes it out of there. It gives it a little bit more of a comfort level for the family, that now that I know I need to intervene, I need to do something in order to see how I can help this person. So we could call the loved one back, they could call us, whatever we can do to help that person through this depression. I think the thing we rely on is our law enforcement, accessing law enforcement to definitely get out there, make a welfare check just to see is something going on that might need to prevent any further physical or mental deterioration so that we can get them help. So you're right. Timing, especially with guns, and that is the worst thing about guns, is the timing. Once a person uses a gun, it is usually fatal. It is difficult to say. Timing is so crucial in getting that person help. But we also know that because of that timing, that as helping professionals, as families, sometimes we may lose time, and unfortunately that person may lose their life because we weren't able to access help immediately. And rescue is always possible. A gun is the highest risk. And we have found that when people are focused on one plan, when that one plan is diverted in some way, so if they don't have access to a gun, they may not actually think of any other plan. Because right now, you've taken away the one secure plan that they had. You took it away from them. Now, that doesn't mean that if they don't have enough time, they may look at another plan that rescue might be more available with any other type of method they could use.
Yeah.